Welcome to DreamSleep Studios. Tonight we are going on a journey not of distance but of depth. We are traveling to the heart of the world's ancient rainforests. There is no rush here. There is nowhere else you need to be. This is a time for you to simply listen, to let your shoulders drop, and to let your breathing find the slow, steady rhythm of nature. Close your eyes if you wish, or simply let your gaze soften as we step into the warm, emerald embrace of the forest. Tonight, we will drift through the trees, uncovering the quiet secrets of this sleeping world. Let us begin by acknowledging the ground beneath our imagination. We are stepping into a place that understands time better than any other. These forests are not new. They are the oldest living ecosystems on Earth. Some of the rainforests standing tall tonight have been growing, breathing, and thriving for over 70 million years. They stood silent while dinosaurs walked the Earth, and they remain standing now, watching over the world like ancient, wise guardians. This longevity brings a sense of stillness. When you lie down to sleep, you are connecting with that same timeless energy. It is strange to think that such a vast, immersive world covers only a very small part of our planet. These deep woods make up less than 6% of Earth's land surface. Yet in this small, precious embrace, they hold more than half of all the world's plant and animal species. It is a concentrated pocket of life, a cradle where nature feels most at home. Breathe in slowly and breathe out. Can you feel the air here? It is heavy, rich, and clean. We often call these forests the lungs of the earth, and for good reason. The trees here are constantly at work, breathing in carbon dioxide and breathing out oxygen, producing nearly 20% of the world's supply in the Amazon alone. So, as you take a deep breath tonight, imagine it traveling from these distant green leaves all the way to you, filling you with calm. Listen to the sound that gives this forest its name. Rain here is not a storm, it is a rhythm. These forests receive between 80 and 400 inches of rain every single year. It is a constant cycle of water rising as mist and returning as gentle drops, a lullaby that never ends. This constant moisture acts like a natural humidifier, keeping the air soft and soothing for weary lungs. As we float downward, sinking deeper into relaxation, we notice that the forest is built in layers, like a comfortable bed with many blankets. At the very top is the emergent layer, where giant trees stretch up to touch the sky, reaching heights of 200 feet or more. But below that is the canopy. This thick roof of leaves acts like a shield, protecting everything below from the harsh sun and heavy winds. Because of this thick blanket of leaves, the environment down here, where we are resting, is incredibly stable. In the rainforest, the temperature rarely changes. It stays in a comfortable, humid range, usually between 68 and 93 degrees Fahrenheit, day and night, all year round. It is nature's perfect climate-controlled room, warm, wrapping around you like a heavy quilt, ensuring you never feel a chill. Drifting further down, we reach the forest floor. It is quiet here, and it is dark. The canopy above is so thick that very little sunlight ever touches the ground. Less than 2%, in fact. Even at high noon, the forest floor remains in a permanent twilight state. This eternal shadow signals to the body that it is time to rest. The darkness here is profound and heavy, perfect for deep, uninterrupted sleep. In this darkness, the soil is working. The floor is covered in a layer of fallen leaves and organic matter, decomposing rapidly in the humidity. This creates a soft, spongy carpet. If you were to walk here, your footsteps would make no sound. The ground absorbs everything, silencing the world, creating a sanctuary of absolute quiet. As the sun sets fully, the forest undergoes a gentle change. While we sleep, the rainforest wakes up in a different way. Many of the animals here are nocturnal. As the bright, noisy creatures of the day close their eyes, the night shift begins. But this isn't a chaotic waking. It is a stealthy, slow movement. Creatures like the slow loris open their large, sensitive eyes to navigate the dark. They move with deliberation and grace, never rushing. The forest at night does not sleep, but it hums, a low-frequency vibration of life that surrounds you, watching over you while you drift off into your own dreams. Rest now, safe in the knowledge that the forest is holding you. In this vast darkness, you are surrounded by an unimaginable variety of life, standing shoulder to shoulder in silent cooperation. If you were to stand in just one single patch of this forest, a small area no larger than a city block, you might find over 400 different types of trees. That is more diversity in one small circle of rainforest than in the entire continent of North America. It reminds us that nature loves abundance, crowding together to support one another in a dense, green community. And within this deep greenery lies a powerful ability to heal. We often call these forests the world's largest pharmacy. It is believed that 1 out of every 4 natural medicines discovered by humans comes from the rainforest. The plants here have spent millions of years developing complex chemical compounds to protect themselves, and in doing so, they have created cures and comforts. When you breathe in the forest air, you are breathing in the scent of healing, of potential, and of ancient remedies that the earth has grown quietly for eons. This healing energy is carried through the air by a phenomenon known as flying rivers. The trees here do not just drink water, they release it. Through a process called transpiration, the rainforest releases billions of tons of water vapor into the atmosphere every single day. It creates its own weather, its own clouds, and its own atmosphere. Imagine invisible rivers flowing through the sky above you, vast streams of vapor that travel across continents to bring rain to distant lands. You are connected to the whole world just by resting here. Eventually, that moisture falls back down and finds its way into the veins of the earth, creating the mighty river systems. The Amazon River alone carries roughly 20% of all the fresh water that flows into the world's oceans. Imagine that volume, a deep, dark, slow-moving body of water, wide enough in some places that you cannot see the other side. It flows with a heavy, powerful inertia, never rushing, just pushing forward with an unstoppable, calming force. High above this moving water, clinging to the branches of the ancient trees, lives a family of plants that never touches the ground. These are the epiphytes, or air plants. Tens of thousands of species, including beautiful orchids and ferns, live their entire lives suspended in the canopy. They do not take nutrients from the tree they rest on, nor do they need soil. They simply drink the mist and gather dust from the air. They are the ultimate example of letting go, of trusting that the air itself will provide everything needed to survive. Living among these air plants is a creature that has mastered the art of rest better than any other: the sloth. These gentle animals are the true spirit guides of the rainforest. They move so slowly that moss and algae actually grow on their fur, turning them green to match the leaves. They are not lazy. They are simply energy efficient, moving at a pace that refuses to be hurried by the world. A sloth can sleep for up to 20 hours a day. They do not worry about the passing of time. They hang securely from the high branches, cradled by the tree, completely at peace with doing absolutely nothing. As you lie there, imagine adopting the pace of the sloth. Let your limbs feel heavy and relaxed, just as they do. There is no need to move. There is no need to be anywhere else. This stillness allows for another miracle of the rainforest, the art of invisibility. Many creatures here, like the leaf-tailed gecko or the stick insect, have evolved to look exactly like their surroundings. They mimic the veins of a leaf or the texture of bark so perfectly that they disappear in plain sight. This camouflage provides them with safety. They do not need to fight or flee. They simply need to be still and become one with the environment. Tonight, you can do the same. You can blend into the quiet, letting your thoughts disappear into the background noise of the forest. And that noise, that constant hum you hear, is actually a specific type of sound called pink noise. Unlike white noise, which can be harsh, the sounds of the rainforest, the rustling leaves, the falling rain, the distant calls, distribute energy evenly across the frequencies that human ears find most pleasing. It is a sonic blanket that slows down your brain waves, synchronizing your mind with the slow, steady pulse of the natural world. Deep within the shadowed mid-layers of the forest, where the light of the moon rarely reaches, another layer of life begins to glow. This is the realm of the fungi, the silent communicators of the earth. Scattered across the damp bark and the rich soil are mushrooms that possess the gift of bioluminescence. They emit a soft, ghostly green light that guides the way through the undergrowth. This gentle glow is not a warning, but a signal, a cold fire that consumes nothing and provides a soft, neon path through the darkness. It is a reminder that even in the deepest shadows, there is light to be found, provided we are patient enough to let our eyes adjust. These fungi are part of a vast, hidden network beneath your feet, often referred to as the Wood Wide Web. Below the moss and the fallen leaves, a complex map of mycelium connects every tree in the forest. Through this invisible grid, the oldest trees, the mother trees, can actually send nutrients and warnings to younger saplings that are struggling in the shade. It is a system of profound empathy and cooperation, where no tree stands truly alone. As you rest, imagine yourself supported by this same invisible network, a global web of life that holds you up, sharing its strength and its peace with you without asking for anything in return. In this sanctuary of silence, the air is not just clean, it is filled with phytoncides. These are natural oils that trees release to protect themselves from insects and germs. When we breathe these in, our bodies respond by lowering our heart rates and reducing the levels of stress hormones in our blood. It is a physical dialogue between the forest and your heart. Each breath you take is an invitation to slow down, to let the forest air heal your nervous system and pull you deeper into a state of restorative sleep. High above, in the thickest part of the canopy, the bromeliads have created miniature worlds of their own. These plants are shaped like deep cups, and they catch the rainfall as it trickles down the branches. Each one becomes a tiny, suspended pond, high in the sky. Within these small pools of water, entire ecosystems exist. Tiny frogs, insects, and microorganisms spend their whole lives hundreds of feet above the ground, never needing to descend. It is a lesson in finding a home exactly where you are, of making a sanctuary out of the resources that fall into your lap. The frogs that inhabit these high-altitude ponds contribute to the forest's nocturnal symphony. The coqui frog and its many cousins have a call that is both sharp and rhythmic. Their voices are tuned to a specific frequency that cuts through the humidity, a pulse that mimics the beating of a heart. It is a steady, predictable sound that has echoed through these trees for millions of years. It acts as a metronome for the night, a reliable sound that tells your mind the world is exactly as it should be, and that it is safe to let go of your vigil. As the night deepens, the very humidity of the forest becomes a comfort. This moisture-rich air is heavy, and its weight acts like a weighted blanket upon the world. It dampens the high-pitched sounds and smooths out the edges of the night. It creates a cocoon of atmosphere that separates you from the frantic energy of modern life. In the rainforest, there is no on or off. There is only the continuous flow of existence, a slow-moving river of time where the past and the future dissolve into the present moment. Consider the giant butterflies like the blue morpho, which have now folded their brilliant, iridescent wings to rest on the undersides of leaves. When their wings are open, they are a dazzling metallic blue, but when they close them for sleep, they reveal a dull brown underside covered in eye spots. They transform from creatures of light into shadows of the forest. They understand the necessity of hiding one's brilliance to find safety in the dark. Like them, you can now fold your thoughts away, hiding the bright colors of your day to reveal the quiet, protective shadows of your rest. The trees themselves are now moving, though so slowly that no human eye can see it. They are shifting their leaves to maximize the capture of the morning's first light, preparing for a tomorrow that is still hours away. But they do not worry about the sunrise. They simply prepare with a quiet, cellular intelligence. They exist in a state of perpetual readiness that looks like perfect stillness. You can trust in this same intelligence within yourself, the part of you that knows how to heal, how to breathe, and how to dream without you ever having to try. The wind through the upper branches sounds like the distant ocean, a low-frequency rush that moves through the emergent layer. This sound is the result of billions of leaves vibrating in unison. It is the sound of the world breathing. As this green sea whispers above you, feel the last of your tensions evaporating like the morning mist. You are a part of this forest. You are a part of this ancient breathing world. You are tucked away in the heart of the greenery, where the only thing left to do is to surrender to the deep, emerald dark. In this deepening quiet, we find the strangler figs, trees that tell a story of patience and transformation. They begin their lives as tiny seeds dropped high in the canopy, stretching their roots downward like slow-moving liquid. Over decades, these roots reach the floor and thicken, eventually wrapping around a host tree in a sturdy wooden lace. While it sounds like a struggle, it creates a hollow sanctuary, a vertical labyrinth where owls and bats find refuge. This structure reminds us that even from a tiny, drifting thought, something strong and supportive can grow, providing a safe place for the mind to rest. The forest floor is home to the world's most patient travelers. Take the giant land snails, whose shells are patterns of perfect geometry. They move through the damp leaf litter at a pace that makes the sloth look hurried. They feel every texture of the earth, every vibration of the soil, guided by the cool moisture of the night. There is a profound peace in moving that slowly, in realizing that the destination matters far less than the sensation of the journey. You are moving at that snail's pace now, drifting through the hours with no need to reach the end. Hidden in the crevices of the tree bark, the velvet worms emerge to hunt in the shadows. These creatures have remained unchanged for over 500 million years. They are living fossils, soft-bodied and fluid, moving with a grace that seems almost otherworldly. Their presence is a testament to the forest's ability to preserve what is gentle. The rainforest does not demand that you be tough or hard. It rewards the soft, the fluid, and the persistent. Let your thoughts become like those velvet movements, fluid, soft, and blending into the dark. High above, the harpy eagle sits on a branch as thick as a man's torso. Even this powerful predator is still now, its feathers fluffed against the humidity. In the rainforest, power is often expressed through stillness. The eagle can sit for hours without moving a single muscle, watching the world with a calm, unblinking focus. This is not the stillness of a statue, but the stillness of a deep well, vibrant, alive, and perfectly centered. You can find that same center within yourself, a place where the storms of the world cannot reach you. Within the trunks of certain trees, like the cecropia, there is a hidden partnership that ensures the forest's safety. Tiny ants live inside the hollow stems, protecting the tree in exchange for a sweet nectar. It is a constant, quiet dialogue of mutual care. The tree provides the home, and the ants provide the defense. This reminds us that we are always being looked after by forces we cannot see. Just as the tree trusts its tiny guardians, you can trust the natural processes of your body to guard your health while you sleep, repairing your cells and clearing your mind in the quiet of the night. The flowers of the rainforest have their own nocturnal language. Some species, like the night-blooming jasmine or the queen of the night, only open their petals when the sun has completely vanished. They release scents that are far more powerful than any daytime flower, rich, musky, and sweet aromas that drift through the trees like invisible clouds. These scents are designed to guide long-tongued bats and moths through the darkness. Imagine those scents now, a heavy perfume that weighs down your eyelids and fills your room with the essence of a tropical night. The bats themselves are the silent gardeners of the sky. As they fly through the canopy, they spread seeds and pollinate the very plants that give the forest life. Their flight is a marvel of biological sonar, navigating a world of obstacles with perfect precision using only sound. They see the world in echoes. As you listen to the ambient sounds of this forest, let the echoes create a map of peace in your mind. You don't need light to find your way into sleep. You only need to follow the rhythm of the sounds around you. The water that drips from the leaves is not just rain. It is enriched with nutrients. As it washes over the bark and the moss, it collects minerals, turning into a canopy tea that feeds the plants below. This cycle of constant nourishment means that even the smallest sprout on the forest floor is being fed by the giants above. Nothing is wasted. Every drop of water, every fallen leaf, and every breath of wind contributes to the whole. You are part of this cycle too, your rest tonight nourishing your strength for tomorrow. In the deepest part of the night, the temperature drops just a few degrees, enough to cause the humidity to condense into a thick, low-hanging fog. This fog wraps around the trunks of the trees like a soft white scarf. It muffles the sounds even further, creating a world of absolute privacy. In this mist, the boundaries of the world blur. The difference between the earth and the air, between the tree and the sky, becomes unimportant. You are simply a part of the mist, a part of the shadows, floating in a sea of green peace. Deep within the roots of the giant buttress trees, there are hollows that serve as nature's amphitheaters. These massive, flared roots act as stabilizers for the giants, but they also capture the vibrations of the earth itself. It is said that some indigenous cultures use these roots to send messages, striking them to create a deep, booming sound that travels for miles through the humid air. Tonight, these roots are silent, acting instead as anchors that tether the forest to the heart of the planet. Imagine your own bed as those roots, holding you steady, keeping you grounded while the rest of the world continues its frantic spin. Amongst these roots, the leafcutter ants have finally slowed their relentless pace. During the day, they operate like a single massive organism, carrying pieces of green leaves back to their underground cities. But they don't eat the leaves. They use them to farm a specific type of fungus. It is a subterranean garden, hidden away from the wind and the light. This reminds us that much of the work of life happens in the dark, out of sight. While you sleep, your mind is like these silent gardeners, sorting through the day, tending to your memories, and growing the wisdom you will need for the morning. Higher up, clinging to the rough bark, are the lianas, the thick, woody vines that act as the forest stairways. Some of these vines can grow to be thousands of feet long, snaking from the floor to the highest emergent branches. They tie the forest together, creating a literal web of connection between the earth and the sky. They are strong enough to support the weight of a jaguar, yet flexible enough to sway with the breeze. Let your thoughts become like the liana, strong, yet flexible, able to bend and weave through the night without breaking, eventually finding a peaceful place to rest. In the stillness, the forest reveals its incredible verticality. If you were to look up from the floor, you would see that the rainforest is not just one forest, but 5 distinct worlds stacked upon one another. Each layer has its own temperature, its own light, and its own unique set of residents. This verticality creates a sense of immense space, an endless cathedral of green. In your mind, you can expand to fill this space. You are not confined to a single room. You are part of a vast, multi-layered kingdom that stretches as far as your imagination can reach. The air remains thick with the scent of damp earth and crushed mint, the smell of the geosmin released by the soil. This scent is biologically programmed to make humans feel at ease. For thousands of years, it signaled the arrival of life-giving water. As you breathe it in, your heart rate naturally begins to decline. It is the scent of home, the scent of the beginning of all things. It tells your body that the struggle of the day is over and the time for restoration has begun. Floating through the understory are the ghost pipes, plants that contain no chlorophyll. Because they don't need the sun to survive, they are a pure, translucent white, glowing like pale candles in the dark. They get their energy from the fungi connected to the trees. They are proof that there are many different ways to live and thrive, even without the light. They exist in a state of pure receptivity, taking only what they need. Tonight, you can be like the ghost pipe, silent, still, and perfectly content to simply exist in the shadows. In the rivers that cut through the greenery, the pink river dolphins move with a slow, fluid grace. These creatures have lived in the fresh water of the rainforest for millions of years, adapting their bodies to navigate the flooded forests during the rainy season. They use their long snouts to gently feel through the submerged roots. Their movement is a dance of pure intuition. As you drift closer to sleep, let your logic fade away and let your intuition take the lead. like the dolphin in the dark water. You don't need to see the path to know where you are going. The trees around you are also masters of crowned shyness. If you look up at the canopy, you will notice that the tops of the trees often do not touch. They leave a narrow gap of sky between their leaves, creating a beautiful, jagged puzzle of blue or moonlight. This is a sign of respect. They grow near each other, but they give each other the space to breathe and thrive. It is a lesson in boundaries and peace. You can let go of the world's demands now. You have your own space, your own gap of sky, and no one is crowding your thoughts. As the middle of the night approaches, the forest enters its deepest state of torpor. This is more than just sleep. It is a profound slowing of the metabolism. The hummingbirds, which have the fastest heartbeats in the world, slow their hearts down until they are barely beating at all. Their body temperatures drop to conserve energy. They become like little stones tucked into the leaves. This is the depth of rest available to you now. A total shutdown of the day's engines, a quietening of the pulse, and a surrender to the restorative power of the deep green dark. In the quiet depths of the undergrowth, we find the tree ferns, living remnants of a time before flowers even existed. These plants do not produce seeds. Instead, they release millions of microscopic spores that drift like golden dust through the humid air. They reproduce through the wind and the mist, trusting the unseen currents to carry their legacy. There is a profound peace in this kind of trust, the ability to release your worries into the air, knowing that the universe has a place for them to land. As you lie still, imagine your heavy thoughts turning into those light, golden spores, floating away from you and vanishing into the vastness of the forest. High above, the kapok tree stands as a true titan of the woods. These trees can live for 500 years, growing so large that their trunks become like solid stone walls. In many ancient cultures, the kapok was considered a sacred ladder that connected the underworld, the earth, and the heavens. It is a bridge between worlds. As you transition from wakefulness to sleep, you are crossing your own bridge. The kapok is there to steady you, its massive branches reaching out to catch you if you fall, providing a sturdy, unwavering foundation for your dreams to climb upon. Amidst the silence, the glass frog rests on the underside of a leaf. These creatures are a miracle of transparency. Their skin is so clear that you can see their tiny, beating hearts and their delicate bones through their bellies. They have nothing to hide. In this state of total transparency, they become almost invisible to the world. There is a great relief in being seen through, in having no secrets and no armor. Tonight, you can let go of your defenses. Like the glass frog, you can be soft, open, and transparent, letting the quiet light of the moon pass right through you. The water that flows through the forest is often darkened by the tannins of fallen leaves, creating what are known as blackwater rivers. These waters look like ink or dark tea, but they are incredibly pure, acidic enough to keep mosquitoes and bacteria at bay. These dark rivers act like a mirror for the stars. When the canopy opens up over the water, the river looks like a second sky, a deep void filled with reflected light. It is a reminder that even in the darkest parts of our lives, there is a reflection of something beautiful. You are drifting on that dark, mirrored river now, floating between two skies. On the bark of the rubber trees, the sap moves slowly, a thick and protective liquid that seals any wounds the tree might receive. This latex is the tree's own healing balm. Nature does not leave its wounds open. It immediately begins the process of sealing, protecting, and mending. Your body is doing the same thing at this very moment. As your breathing slows, your internal systems are sealing the stresses of the day, knitting together the tired muscles, and smoothing out the frayed edges of your mind. You are being mended by the same intelligence that runs through the veins of the rubber tree. In the high branches, the toucans have tucked their large, colorful beaks under their wings to sleep. Though their beaks look heavy, they are actually made of a lightweight honeycomb of bone and keratin, filled with tiny pockets of air. They are masterpieces of engineering, strength without weight. This is how your body feels now, strong, supported, yet light as air. The heaviness of the day has been replaced by a hollow, airy lightness. You are like the resting bird, perched high above the world, tucked into the safety of your own feathers. The rainforest also houses the walking palm, a tree that can actually move its position over several years. If the light changes or a neighbor falls, the palm grows new roots in the direction of the sunlight and lets its old roots die away. It literally walks across the forest floor to find a better life. It teaches us that change does not have to be violent or sudden. It can be a slow, graceful migration toward the light. You are moving now, too, not in space, but in consciousness, slowly migrating away from the noise of the world and toward the light of your own inner peace. Deep in the soil, the cicadas are waiting. Some species live underground for 17 years in total darkness, listening to the vibrations of the trees above before they ever emerge into the air. They understand the value of a long, deep wait. They are not in a rush to grow up or to be seen. They find contentment in the cool, quiet earth. You can find that same contentment in the stillness of your room. There is no need to emerge yet. There is only the beauty of the wait, the comfort of the dark, and the safety of the earth. The very last of the forest's day sounds have finally vanished. The parrots have found their roosts, and the monkeys have curled into tight balls in the crooks of the branches. A profound biosilence has settled over the landscape. This isn't the absence of sound, but the presence of a deep, resonant harmony. It is the sound of 1,000 heartbeats slowing down in unison. It is the sound of the planet taking a long, slow breath. You are breathing with it. Your heart is beating in time with the forest. You are home. In the velvet hush of the deep night, the epiphytic ferns, the resurrection plants, show us the power of stillness. During dry spells, they can shrivel into small, brown curls, appearing to have lost their life. But at the first touch of the forest's mist, they unfurl their green fronds in a matter of hours, returning to vibrant health. They hold within them an indestructible spark of life that simply waits for the right moment to awaken. As you rest, your energy is drawing inward, curling into a safe, protective state, waiting to unfurl with fresh vitality when the morning light finally touches your eyes. High in the canopy, the bromeliads act as the forest's tiny reservoirs. These plants are shaped like deep, emerald bowls that catch the rainfall, holding up to several gallons of water high above the ground. Within these suspended ponds, a specialized species of tree frog will lay its eggs, never once touching the forest floor. It is a world of pure verticality, where life is supported by the sky itself. It reminds us that we are often held up by things we cannot see, by the air, by the atmosphere, and by the invisible support systems of the natural world. The trees themselves are masters of communication through scent. When a tree is being nibbled by an insect, it can release specific volatile organic compounds into the air. invisible clouds of information that warn its neighbors to strengthen their own defenses. The forest talks in a language of perfume and chemistry, a silent conversation that has been happening for millions of years. Even in the silence of your room, there is a similar, quiet communication happening within you, as your cells whisper to one another, coordinating the delicate work of restoration and peace. Deep in the leaf litter, the pill millipede curls into a perfect, armored sphere when it feels the vibration of a footfall. It becomes a small, polished stone, impenetrable and still. This ability to withdraw into oneself is a profound survival skill. Tonight, you have curled into your own sanctuary. You have drawn your boundaries, closing the door to the outside world, becoming a self-contained world of quiet and safety. Nothing can reach you here in the heart of the greenery. The humidity of the rainforest actually changes the way sound travels. In the thick, moist air of the night, low-frequency sounds, like the distant rumble of a waterfall or the deep call of a nocturnal bird, travel much further and sound much richer. The air acts as a natural bass filter, smoothing out the sharp, high-pitched noises of the world. This creates a sonic bath that vibrates at a frequency very similar to the human brain's theta waves, the waves we produce just before we fall into a deep sleep. You are being bathed in the frequency of the earth. Consider the Brazil nut tree, a giant that refuses to be tamed. These trees can only thrive in the wild, untouched rainforest because they rely on a very specific type of bee for pollination and a single type of rodent, the agouti, to crack open their rock-hard shells and plant their seeds. They are a testament to the intricate, unbreakable links of the ecosystem. Everything here is connected. Everything here belongs. You too belong to this great tapestry. You are a necessary part of the rhythm, and the world is more complete because you are resting within it. In the dark rivers that wind through the roots, the electric eel produces a low-voltage pulse, not to hunt, but to see. Because the water is so dark and silty, the eel uses electricity as a form of touch, feeling the shape of the world around it through invisible currents. It is a sensory world that humans can barely imagine, a world of feeling rather than seeing. As your eyes stay closed, your other senses begin to expand. You feel the weight of your blankets, the coolness of the air on your skin, and the steady rise and fall of your chest. You are feeling your way into the dream world. Among the shadows, the owl butterfly rests with its wings closed. On the underside of its wings are two large, perfect circles that look exactly like the eyes of a predator. By simply existing, it creates an illusion of watchfulness that keeps it safe while it sleeps. It is the art of being protected by your own nature. You don't have to work to be safe. Your environment and your own body have built-in defenses that allow you to let go completely. You are watched over by the ancient wisdom of your own biology. The very soil of the rainforest is a miracle of recycling. Despite the lushness above, the soil itself is often nutrient-poor. The forest thrives because it is incredibly efficient at reclaiming life from what has passed. A fallen leaf is broken down, and its nutrients reabsorbed by the trees in a matter of days. It is a world where nothing is lost and everything is transformed. As you drift toward the edge of consciousness, let your worries of the day be reclaimed by the forest. Let them be broken down and turned into the rich, fertile soil of your dreams, where they can grow into something new and beautiful by dawn. In the deepest part of the night, the forest floor belongs to the fungi that glow with a soft, bioluminescent light. This foxfire is a cold, living radiance that clings to rotting wood and damp bark, casting a dim, emerald glow across the moss. It is a light that does not demand attention. It simply exists, a quiet reminder that even in the absolute dark, there is a glow inherent to life itself. This gentle illumination is perfectly tuned to the eyes of the night, a soft visual hum that guides the wandering spirit without waking the sleeping mind. Beneath the towering hardwoods, the understory is home to the walking stick insects, creatures so perfectly adapted to stillness that they are indistinguishable from the twigs they rest upon. They can remain motionless for days at a time, their bodies swaying slightly with the wind as if they were nothing more than a part of the tree. They teach us the power of total surrender to the environment. When you stop resisting the world and simply sway with its natural rhythms, you become invisible to stress and invulnerable to worry. You are just another branch in the great sleeping forest. The air here is filled with the soft, velvety flight of the giant silk moths. With wingspans as wide as a human hand, they drift through the canopy like silent, ghostly kites. They do not have mouths to eat. Their only purpose in their adult life is to fly, to find a mate, and to pass on the spark of existence. They live entirely on the energy they gathered as caterpillars, moving with a lightness that defies gravity. They are the embodiment of pure intention, floating through the dark with a singular, peaceful focus. Let your mind become as light as those silk wings, unburdened by the need to consume or achieve. In the hidden pockets of the trees, the pitcher plants have become quiet sanctuaries for small bats. While these plants are known for being carnivorous, certain species have formed a beautiful pact with the forest's tiny woolly bats. The bat finds a perfectly sized, waterproof sleeping bag inside the plant's pitcher, and in return, the plant receives the nutrients it needs to grow. It is a partnership of mutual rest, a secret bedroom tucked away from the rain. Imagine yourself finding such a perfect fit, a space designed specifically for your comfort, where you are welcomed and protected. The rain that fell hours ago is still making its way down to the earth. Because the canopy is so incredibly dense, it can take up to 10 minutes for a single raindrop to travel from the top of the trees to the forest floor. The forest acts as a giant green sponge, slowing down the pace of everything it touches. Time itself seems to move differently here. It is stretched and cushioned by the layers of leaves. In your own rest, let time slow down in the same way. There is no urgency in the forest. There is only the slow, rhythmic descent of the water, one leaf at a time. Even the rocks here are covered in life. The lithophytes are plants that grow directly on the surface of stones, sending their roots into tiny cracks to find mineral-rich water. They show us that life is persistent and that it can find a foothold even in the hardest of places. They do not need deep soil to thrive. They only need the moisture in the air and the strength of the stone beneath them. Feel the strength of your own foundation, the mattress beneath you, the floor beneath that, and the earth beneath it all. You are anchored to something solid and unmoving. High above the riverbanks, the social spiders have woven communal webs that can cover entire trees. These webs are not traps of solitude, but massive, shimmering silken cities where thousands of individuals live together in harmony. In the moonlight, these webs look like silver veils draped over the forest, catching the mist and turning it into a million tiny diamonds. It is a reminder that we are all part of a larger, beautiful structure, woven together by invisible threads of connection and care. You are never truly alone in the dark. You are held within the silver veil of the world. The stinkhorn fungus, despite its name, is a marvel of geometric beauty, unfolding a delicate, lace-like skirt in the middle of the night. This lace veil, known as an indusium, looks like a fine white mesh draped around a central pillar. It is a masterpiece of ephemeral architecture, built to last only a few hours before dissolving back into the earth. It teaches us the beauty of the temporary, that things do not have to last forever to be perfect. Your dreams are like that lace veil, intricate, beautiful, and light, unfolding in the dark and fading gently with the dawn. As the pre-dawn chill begins to settle, the forest enters its most silent phase. The humidity is at its peak, and a heavy silver dew begins to form on every surface. This dew adds a layer of weight to the leaves, bowing them down in a gesture of deep slumber. The world is at its most receptive now, completely still and waiting for the first hint of light. In this final stretch of the night, let yourself be like that dew-covered leaf, heavy, relaxed, and fully immersed in the cool, quiet peace of the rainforest. In the velvet hush before the first light, the forest floor is home to the Titan arum, a plant that grows for years in silence before producing a bloom of prehistoric proportions. It is a reminder that nature is comfortable with long periods of dormancy. It does not feel the need to perform or produce every day. It understands that greatness requires deep, quiet preparation. Like the sleeping Titan, your mind is currently in a state of vital rest, gathering the quiet energy it needs to eventually blossom into the thoughts and actions of a new day. Tucked into the crevices of the strangler figs are the velvet-furred fruit bats, now returning from their nocturnal travels. As they hang upside down, they wrap their wings around their bodies like dark, silken capes. This posture is one of total trust. They let gravity hold them, surrendering the weight of their bodies to the strength of their claws. They do not struggle against the earth's pull. They use it to rest. You can do the same, letting the weight of your body sink into the mattress, trusting the world to hold you without any effort on your part. Among the damp stones of the creek beds, the Sicilian, limbless amphibians that look like giant iridescent earthworms move through the soil with a slow, serpentine fluidity. They have lived in the shadows of the forest for over 200 million years, navigating a world of pure texture and vibration. They remind us that there is a profound intelligence in the body that does not require sight or logic. It is the intelligence of touch and instinct. As you move closer to the heart of sleep, let your logic go and let your body's ancient instinct for rest take the lead. The pencil cedar trees of the high ridges are currently draped in old man's beard, a soft, grayish lichen that hangs in long, wispy tresses from the branches. This lichen only grows where the air is at its absolute purest. It is a biological seal of quality, a sign that the atmosphere is clean and life-giving. Imagine those soft, silver tresses brushing against your thoughts, filtering out the dust of the day and leaving your mind as clear and fresh as the mountain air on a rainforest ridge. Deep in the Amazonian basin, the Victoria amazonica water lilies have reached their full expansion on the still surface of the lagoons. These leaves are massive, some stretching up to 10 feet in diameter, strong enough to support the weight of a small child. They float with a perfect, buoyant stability, their edges upturned to repel the splashing water. Beneath them, the water is dark and still, protected from the wind. Imagine your consciousness as one of these great lilies, broad, stable, and perfectly buoyant, floating on the deep, calm waters of your subconscious. On the trunks of the ironwood trees, the cicada husks remain as brittle, golden shells, left behind as the insects moved into a new stage of life. They are reminders of the beauty of letting go. The forest is constantly shedding its old skins, its old leaves, and its old shells, leaving them behind to enrich the soil. You are doing the same tonight, shedding the roles and responsibilities of the day, leaving behind the husk of your daytime self to allow a more rested, refreshed version of you to emerge in the morning. The cloud forests that sit at the highest elevations are currently bathed in a permanent swirling mist. Here, the trees are shorter and gnarled, covered in a thick, emerald coat of moss that can hold several times its own weight in water. This moss acts as a soundproof room, absorbing every vibration and creating an atmosphere of absolute cushioned silence. Within this mossy embrace, the world feels soft and blurred. Every sharp edge of reality is smoothed away, replaced by the gentle, rolling curves of the mist. High in the branches of the mahogany trees, the harpy eagle's nest is a massive structure of woven sticks, some over 3 feet deep. This nest is a fortress of safety, built to withstand the heaviest tropical downpours. It is a testament to the fact that home is a place of absolute security, no matter what the weather does outside. Your own space is that fortress tonight. The walls of your room and the blankets around you are your own nest, woven with care to keep the world out and the peace in. As the stars begin to fade and the very first hint of indigo appears in the sky, the forest's chorus line prepares to change. The nocturnal creatures are finding their final resting places, and the daytime world is not yet awake. This is the moment of the great silence, the transition point where the forest is at its most still. In this moment, the boundary between the dreaming world and the waking world is at its thinnest. You are hovering in this beautiful indigo space, perfectly balanced, perfectly peaceful, and ready for the deepest sleep of all. In this indigo threshold, the moonflowers begin their slow, graceful retreat. These pale blossoms, which bloomed only for the night, start to fold their petals as the humidity shifts. They do not mourn the end of their night. They simply tuck their beauty away, having fulfilled their purpose in the dark. This rhythmic closing is a natural part of the forest's heartbeat. Just as the flower folds, your mind is folding away the last lingering threads of the day's narrative, preparing for a period of profound internal stillness. Under the roots of the rosewood trees, the leafcutter colonies are vibrating with a low-frequency hum. This is not the sound of movement, but of collective rest. Deep underground, they have created chambers with perfectly regulated temperatures, shielded by the massive thermal mass of the Earth itself. They are nestled in the planet's own insulation. As you settle into your pillows, imagine that same deep, earthen insulation surrounding you, protecting your warmth and shielding you from the vibrations of the modern world. On the trunks of the towering balsa trees, the wood itself is a miracle of lightness. Though it grows to be an immense giant, the balsa's cellular structure is filled with air, making it one of the most buoyant and flexible woods on Earth. It is a giant that has learned how to be light. It teaches us that strength does not have to be heavy or rigid. Tonight, let your spirit be like the balsa tree, immense and strong, yet light enough to float on the currents of your dreams, unburdened by the density of worry. High in the misty mountains of the forest, the orchids known as angricum release a fragrance that can only be detected by a single species of moth with an incredibly long proboscis. It is a secret conversation between two specific souls, happening in the dark. It reminds us that there is a place for everyone in the forest, a specialized niche where you are perfectly understood and perfectly catered to. You are in that niche now, a space where the air, the temperature, and the sounds are all tuned to your personal need for rest. The rainforest soil is inhabited by billions of microscopic organisms that work in the dark to turn fallen debris into the black gold of the forest floor. This process of humification is the ultimate act of alchemy, turning the old and the dead into the fuel for the new. While you sleep, your subconscious is performing this same alchemy. It is taking the events, the stresses, and the fragments of your day and breaking them down, turning them into the wisdom and the resilience you will carry with you when you wake. In the slow-moving agapo or flooded forests, the trees have adapted to live submerged in water for months at a time. Their roots have developed specialized breathing pores, called lenticels, that allow them to draw oxygen directly from the air above the waterline. They have learned to breathe through the flood. No matter how deep the emotions or the thoughts of the day may have seemed, like the flooded tree, you have the natural ability to keep breathing, to keep rising above the surface, and to find the air you need to remain calm and steady. The butterfly trees of the deep interior are currently covered in thousands of sleeping monarchs or postman butterflies, hanging together in clusters to conserve heat. From a distance, they look like dead leaves, but inside is a vibrant, sleeping fire. This collective huddle is a strategy of shared warmth. In your heart, you can feel that same warmth of connection. The knowledge that you are part of a living, breathing planet that is resting alongside you. You are part of a global huddle, a community of life all tucked away in the shadows of the turning earth. Among the high ridges, the ebony trees stand with heartwood so dense and dark that it sinks in water. This would take centuries to form, layering cell upon cell in a slow, patient accumulation of strength. This is the deep time of the forest, a pace where centuries are like heartbeats. As you drift further into the night, let yourself adopt this ebony pace. There is no need for rapid movement or quick thoughts. You are building the deep, dark heartwood of your own peace, one slow, rhythmic breath at a time. The dawn mist is now beginning to gather in the low valleys, a thick, white sea that hides the roots of the trees. This mist is the forest's final gift of the night, a protective shroud that keeps the cool air trapped against the earth for just a little longer. It is a soft, silent boundary between the night and the morning. You are resting in that mist now, in the quietest, most protected hour of the 24-hour cycle. The world is soft, the light is dim, and the forest is whispering its final lullaby before the sun begins its long climb. In the soft, filtered light of the pre-dawn, the pioneer trees, like the cecropia, stand ready to catch the first hints of energy. These trees are the healers of the forest. When a gap opens in the canopy, they grow with incredible speed to shade the bare earth, protecting the soil from the sun and allowing the slower, more ancient trees to rise safely beneath them. They are the forest's own fast-acting kindness. As you linger in the final stages of your rest, imagine your mind doing the same, covering the vulnerable spaces of your thoughts with a soft green layer of peace, preparing the way for a day of steady, grounded growth. Tucked within the high, mossy branches, the kinkajous, the honey bears of the rainforest, are finishing their nightly feast of nectar. They have long, honey-colored tails that they wrap around branches like a fifth limb, allowing them to hang with effortless grace. They are creatures of perfect balance, moving through the heights with a confidence that comes from trust. Tonight, you can let go of the need to hold on with your mind. Like the kinkajou, you are tethered to the world by deep, instinctive bonds of safety. You can let your spirit hang suspended in the quiet, knowing you are perfectly secure. Deep in the leaf litter, the jewel beetles are resting, their metallic shells reflecting the very faint indigo light of the sky. These shells are not just beautiful, they are masterpieces of structural color, created by microscopic layers that catch the light without the need for chemical pigments. They are a reminder that beauty is often built into the very structure of our being. You do not need to do anything to be worthy of this rest. Your value is woven into the layers of your existence, as natural and effortless as the shimmer on a beetle's wing. Along the riverbanks, the mangrove roots create a complex underwater cathedral. These roots are masters of filtration, pulling the salt from the seawater and leaving behind only the pure, fresh essence the tree needs to survive. They are nature's own wisdom, knowing exactly what to take in and what to leave behind. As you drift in this peaceful state, let your mind perform its own filtration. Let the salt and the stress of the previous day wash away into the current, leaving behind only the clear, fresh energy you need to nourish your soul. High in the emergent layer, the harpy eagles begin to stir, though they do not yet fly. They spread their massive wings just a few inches, feeling the change in the air pressure as the night prepares to turn. This subtle awareness of the world's shifts is a form of deep listening. You are practicing that same listening now, not with your ears, but with your heart. You are feeling the slow, rhythmic pulse of the planet as it rotates, a movement so vast and steady that it acts as the ultimate cradle, rocking you into a state of total surrender. In the hidden valleys, the tree ferns are collecting the final drops of the night's dew in the centers of their fronds. This water is incredibly pure, filtered by the very atmosphere of the forest. Some call this celestial water, a gift from the sky that never touched the ground. Imagine a single drop of this cool, celestial water touching your forehead, clearing away the last lingering shadows of tension and leaving you with a mind that is as clear and still as a mountain pool. The bamboo groves of the interior are currently whispering in a language of friction and wind. Bamboo can grow up to 3 feet in a single day, a pace of life that is almost audible if you listen closely enough. Yet, even with this rapid growth, the bamboo remains hollow and flexible. It does not become rigid or heavy. It stays light so that it can bend without breaking in the tropical storms. This is the secret of the forest, to grow quickly but to stay hollow, to stay open, receptive, and light. Your heart can be like the bamboo tonight, strong, growing, and beautifully open to the world. On the undersides of the broad monstera leaves, the tiny tent-making bats have bitten through the veins of the leaf, causing it to fold over them like a perfect green tent. It is an act of gentle architecture, turning the forest's own growth into a private home. Within these green tents, the air is still and the light is soft. You are in your own green tent now, a space that has been perfectly folded around you by the universe to ensure your privacy and your peace. Nothing can enter this tent unless you invite it. As the very first bird, the screaming piha, lets out its iconic, ringing call from the distance, it doesn't break the silence, it punctuates it. It is a signal that the cycle is complete, that the night has done its work, and that the forest has been successfully renewed. But the sun is still below the horizon, and there is still a long, luxurious period of twilight remaining. This is the sweet hour, the time when the dreams are the most vivid and the rest is the most profound. Stay here, in the heart of the DreamSleep Studios rainforest, and let the green dark carry you all the way home. In the velvet shadows where the walking palms stand, the forest is busy with a slow, silent movement that the waking world never sees. These trees have the unique ability to shift their position by inches each year, growing new roots toward the light and letting the old ones wither away. It is a slow-motion migration, a gentle reminder that even when we feel stuck, we are always moving, always adjusting, always seeking the warmth we need to survive. As you lie still, imagine your own roots shifting, settling into a place of deeper comfort and more profound stability, letting go of the old ground to make room for the new. Nearby, the rubber trees are weeping a slow, white sap, the lifeblood of the forest. This latex is the tree's own immune system, a thick, protective liquid that instantly rushes to seal any crack or wound in the bark. Nature does not leave itself exposed for long. It has an inherent, immediate drive to heal and protect. As you breathe in the cooling night air, imagine your own inner reserves of strength acting like that healing sap, smoothing over the worries of the day and sealing your mind in a protective, peaceful embrace where no stress can penetrate. High in the canopy, the orchids that cling to the branches have no roots in the soil. They are the air plants, drawing everything they need from the humidity and the dust that floats on the breeze. They live a life of pure suspension, trusting the atmosphere to provide their nourishment. There is a magnificent freedom in this way of living, the ability to let go of the heavy earth and simply float, anchored only by a branch and the sky. Let your spirit be an air plant tonight, floating above the heavy details of your life, light enough to be carried by the gentle breath of the forest. In the dark hollows of fallen logs, the Sicilian, the hidden, shimmering amphibians of the deep earth, are navigating their world through vibration alone. They have no need for eyes in the rich, dark soil. They feel the heartbeat of the forest through their skin. They remind us that there is a deep, subterranean wisdom that doesn't require logic or sight. It is the wisdom of feeling, of knowing where you are by the pulse of the world around you. Let your logic go now. Let your eyes stay closed. Feel the steady pulse of your own heart and the quiet rhythm of the room, letting these sensations guide you into the deeper layers of rest. Among the massive buttress roots of the ceiba trees, the air is notably cooler. These roots, flared like the fins of a great green rocket, create microclimates in their shadows, trapping the cool air of the night and holding it long into the morning. They act as anchors for the giants, but also as cradles for the small. You are tucked into one of those cool, shadowed cradles now, protected by the massive strength of the trees above you. The weight of the world is being carried by the canopy. You are only required to rest in the shadow of its protection. The slow loris moves through the mid-story with a deliberation that is almost hypnotic. It has a specialized grip that allows it to stay attached to a branch for hours without using any muscle energy at all. It is a creature of absolute efficiency, never wasting a movement, never rushing a breath. Its large, soulful eyes are tuned to catch the faintest glimmer of starlight. Watch this creature in your mind's eye, slow, steady, and perfectly at peace with the dark. Adopting its pace, your own movements become internal, your thoughts slowing down until they are as quiet and deliberate as a loris on a moonlit branch. In the rivers that snake through the greenery, the Victoria Amazonica water lilies have reached their full, incredible expansion. Their leaves are so large they look like floating green islands, and their blossoms change color from pure white to deep pink over a single night. This transformation happens in the dark, away from the gaze of the sun. It is a reminder that some of our most beautiful changes happen while we are at rest, in the quiet spaces of our dreams. You are transforming even now, your mind refreshing itself, your spirit blossoming in the indigo light of the night. The rainforest soil itself is a living, breathing blanket. While it is often thin, it is incredibly efficient, turning every fallen leaf and every dead branch back into the energy of life within days. It is a perfect circle of return. Nothing in the forest is ever lost, it is only repurposed. As you drift towards sleep, give your thoughts back to the forest soil. Let the day's events decompose and be recycled into the wisdom and the energy you will need for tomorrow. You are part of this perfect green economy of the soul. As the pre-dawn mist begins to thicken, the forest enters a state of suspended animation. The birds are still, the insects have hushed their hum, and the wind has died down to a faint whisper. This is the deepest part of the sleep cycle, the time when the earth feels most like a single, unified organism. You are a cell in that organism, perfectly in sync with the forest's slow, deep breath. The world is soft, the light is far away, and you are exactly where you belong. In the final hours of the night, the strangler figs have finished their silent, decades-long embrace of the ancient hardwoods. These trees are masters of structural support. As they grow, they create hollow, lattice-like trunks that become vertical sanctuaries for thousands of creatures. Within these wooden cathedrals, the air is still and the temperature is perfectly constant. It is a reminder that even from the smallest seed, a massive, protective home can be built. You are resting inside a similar sanctuary of your own making. A quiet space where the walls are strong and the atmosphere is tailored for your absolute peace. Along the edges of the high-altitude cloud forests, the tree ferns are currently acting as living sponges. Their trunks are draped in thick layers of epiphytic moss that can hold up to 10 times its own weight in water. This moss doesn't just hold moisture, it muffles all sound, creating a natural acoustic foam that turns the forest into the quietest room on earth. In this muffled world, the only thing you can hear is the slow, rhythmic drip of water and the sound of your own steady breathing. Every external noise is absorbed by the green velvet, leaving you in a cocoon of silence. High above the riverbanks, the macaws have tucked their brilliant crimson and blue feathers tight against their bodies. To sleep, they often find hollows in the clay cliffs or deep cavities in the ironwood trees. By hiding their bright colors, they become one with the shadows. You are doing the same now, folding away the bright, busy colors of your personality and your workday, tucking them into the quiet cavities of your mind. You are becoming a shadow among shadows, blending into the protective dark where you cannot be disturbed. In the slow-moving Blackwater creeks, the leaf-mimic fish float near the surface, looking exactly like fallen mahogany leaves. They do not swim against the current. They simply drift with it, allowing the water to take them wherever it flows. They have mastered the art of non-resistance. There is a great power in this surrender, in letting the current of the night carry you toward the morning without trying to steer or struggle. Let your consciousness be like that leaf-mimic fish, floating effortlessly on the dark, warm water of sleep. The rainforest canopy is currently performing its final filtration of the night. As the cool air sinks, the leaves catch the last of the airborne dust and pollen, washing them down to the roots. By the time the morning comes, the air will be the purest it has been all day. You can feel this purity in your lungs with every slow breath you take. It is a crisp, oxygen-rich tonic that clears the heaviness from your chest and fills you with a sense of internal light. You are being washed clean by the forest's own atmospheric cycle. Among the roots of the kapok trees, the agudas have buried hundreds of nuts in the soil, some of which they will never return to find. These forgotten seeds will eventually become the giants of the next century. It is a beautiful lesson in the value of letting go of your efforts. Not every thought or action from your day needs to be remembered or finished. Some are meant to be buried in the subconscious, where they can quietly grow into something new while you are busy dreaming. You can trust the soil of your mind to take care of what is important. The pitcher plants, hanging from the lianas, have closed their lids slightly to keep out the heaviest of the morning dew. Inside their liquid-filled chambers, the water is calm and still. These plants are experts at containment, creating small, private oceans high above the ground. You are like that pitcher plant, a self-contained vessel of calm. No matter how much rain falls or how much the wind blows outside, the liquid center of your being remains undisturbed, a mirror-flat surface of absolute tranquility. On the bark of the cinnamon trees, the scent is at its most potent in the high humidity of the pre-dawn. This warm, spicy aroma drifts through the understory, acting as a natural sedative for many of the forest's inhabitants. It is a fragrance that speaks of warmth, comfort, and the hearth. Imagine that scent now, a faint trail of cinnamon and damp earth, wrapping around you like a familiar blanket. It is the scent of the earth's own kitchen, preparing a quiet space for you to rest your head. As the stars finally begin to dissolve into the deep indigo of the coming dawn, the bioluminescent fungi on the forest floor begin to dim their glow. Their work for the night is done. They have guided the nocturnal travelers through the darkest hours, and now they return to the quiet work of decomposition. The forest is preparing for a new beginning, but that beginning is still a long way off. There is no rush to meet the sun. There is only the beauty of this final, indigo stillness, the most restorative moment of the entire journey. In the velvet hush of the deep night, the epiphytic ferns, the resurrection plants, show us the power of stillness. During dry spells, they can shrivel into small brown curls, appearing to have lost their life. But at the first touch of the forest's mist, they unfurl their green fronds in a matter of hours, returning to vibrant health. They hold within them an indestructible spark of life that simply waits for the right moment to awaken. As you rest, your energy is drawing inward, curling into a safe, protective state, waiting to unfurl with fresh vitality when the morning light finally touches your eyes. High in the canopy, the bromeliads act as the forest's tiny reservoirs. These plants are shaped like deep, emerald bowls that catch the rainfall, holding up to several gallons of water high above the ground. Within these suspended ponds, a specialized species of tree frog will lay its eggs, never once touching the forest floor. It is a world of pure verticality, where life is supported by the sky itself. It reminds us that we are often held up by things we cannot see, by the air, by the atmosphere, and by the invisible support systems of the natural world. The trees themselves are masters of communication through scent. When a tree is being nibbled by an insect, it can release specific volatile organic compounds into the air, invisible clouds of information that warn its neighbors to strengthen their own defenses. The forest talks in a language of perfume and chemistry, a silent conversation that has been happening for millions of years. Even in the silence of your room, there is a similar, quiet communication happening within you as your cells whisper to one another, coordinating the delicate work of restoration and peace. Deep in the leaf litter, the pill millipede curls into a perfect, armored sphere when it feels the vibration of a footfall. It becomes a small, polished stone, impenetrable and still. This ability to withdraw into oneself is a profound survival skill. Tonight, you have curled into your own sanctuary. You have drawn your boundaries, closing the door to the outside world, becoming a self-contained world of quiet and safety. Nothing can reach you here in the heart of the greenery. The humidity of the rainforest actually changes the way sound travels. In the thick, moist air of the night, low-frequency sounds, like the distant rumble of a waterfall or the deep call of a nocturnal bird, travel much further and sound much richer. The air acts as a natural bass filter, smoothing out the sharp, high-pitched noises of the world. This creates a sonic bath that vibrates at a frequency very similar to the human brain's theta waves, the waves we produce just before we fall into a deep sleep. You are being bathed in the frequency of the earth. Consider the Brazil nut tree, a giant that refuses to be tamed. These trees can only thrive in the wild, untouched rainforest because they rely on a very specific type of bee for pollination and a single type of rodent, the agouti, to crack open their rock-hard shells and plant their seeds. They are a testament to the intricate, unbreakable links of the ecosystem. Everything here is connected. Everything here belongs. You too belong to this great tapestry. You are a necessary part of the rhythm, and the world is more complete because you are resting within it. In the dark rivers that wind through the roots, the electric eel produces a low-voltage pulse, not to hunt, but to see. Because the water is so dark and silty, the eel uses electricity as a form of touch, feeling the shape of the world around it through invisible currents. It is a sensory world that humans can barely imagine, a world of feeling rather than seeing. As your eyes stay closed, your other senses begin to expand. You feel the weight of your blankets, the coolness of the air on your skin, and the steady rise and fall of your chest. You are feeling your way into the dream world. Among the shadows, the owl butterfly rests with its wings closed. On the underside of its wings are two large, perfect circles that look exactly like the eyes of a predator. By simply existing, it creates an illusion of watchfulness that keeps it safe while it sleeps. It is the art of being protected by your own nature. You don't have to work to be safe. Your environment and your own body have built-in defenses that allow you to let go completely. You are watched over by the ancient wisdom of your own biology. The very soil of the rainforest is a miracle of recycling. Despite the lushness above, the soil itself is often nutrient poor. The forest thrives because it is incredibly efficient at reclaiming life from what has passed. A fallen leaf is broken down, and its nutrients reabsorbed by the trees in a matter of days. It is a world where nothing is lost and everything is transformed. As you drift toward the edge of consciousness, let your worries of the day be reclaimed by the forest. Let them be broken down and turned into the rich, fertile soil of your dreams. where they can grow into something new and beautiful by dawn. In the final hours before the world awakens, the forest enters a state of profound, liquid stillness known as the blue hour. During this time, the cloud forests on the mountain slopes become completely submerged in a thick silver fog. The trees here, gnarled and ancient, are draped in Spanish moss and old man's beard, which act as giant atmospheric filters. They pull the very moisture out of the air, drop by drop, in a process called horizontal precipitation. They don't wait for the rain to fall. They simply gather what they need from the air around them. It is a lesson in effortless receiving. You don't need to reach out for peace tonight. You can simply let it condense around you, settling on your skin and in your mind like a soft silver mist. High in the emergent layer, the silk cotton trees are shedding their seed pods. Inside these pods is a fiber called kapok, a material so light and airy that it was once used to fill life jackets because it is naturally buoyant and water-resistant. As the pods burst in the night, the silken fluff drifts down through the layers of the forest like warm, tropical snow. It blankets the branches and the forest floor in a soft, insulating down. Imagine your thoughts are becoming like that kapok fiber, hollow, light, and incapable of sinking. You are floating on a sea of silk, cushioned by the forest's own natural bedding. The rainforest rivers have slowed their pace as they reach the flat floodplains. Here, the water moves so slowly that it barely seems to move at all. These are the mirror waters, where the reflection of the jungle is so perfect that it becomes difficult to tell where the bank ends and the water begins. In this state of perfect reflection, the world is doubled, creating a sense of infinite space and depth. Your mind is becoming like that mirror water, still, dark, and deep. The ripples of the day have smoothed out, leaving only a perfect, tranquil surface that reflects the quiet stars above. Hidden in the shadows of the ironwood roots, the tapir has found a soft bed of moss. These gentle giants are the gardeners of the night, moving through the forest with a slow, heavy gait that tamps down the soil and helps new seeds to sprout. But now, even the tapir is still, its long, sensitive snout resting against the cool earth. It breathes in the scent of the damp soil, a scent that triggers a deep sense of safety in all living things. As you breathe in, let that same scent of the earth anchor you. You are part of the soil, part of the roots, and part of the ancient, steady rhythm of the ground. In the mid-canopy, the passion flowers are preparing to close their intricate, clock-like petals. These flowers are masters of complex geometry, their shapes designed to fit perfectly with the bodies of specific hummingbirds and bees. They are a testament to the fact that there is a perfect fit for everyone in this world. You have found your perfect fit tonight. The shape of your bed, the weight of your covers, and the rhythm of this story. Everything is aligned to support your rest. You are tucked into the geometry of the night, held in place by the careful design of the universe. The bamboo forests are now producing a low, melodic creaking as the temperature drops just a few degrees. Bamboo is a grass, not a tree, and its hollow chambers act like the pipes of an organ. As the air moves through the grove, the forest plays its own minimalist symphony, a series of deep, woody notes that vibrate in the chest. These sounds are at a frequency that naturally resonates with the human nervous system, signaling that it is time to slow down. You are listening to the heartbeat of the grass, the song of the hollow stems, and it is lullabying you into a state of total surrender. On the undersides of the philodendron leaves, the glasswing butterflies are resting. Their wings are completely transparent, lacking the scales that give other butterflies their color. To look at them is to look right through them at the green world beyond. They are the ghosts of the garden, existing without the need for ego or display. They show us that there is a quiet power in being transparent, in letting the world pass through you without resistance. You are becoming transparent tonight, letting your worries and your identity fade until you are nothing more than a peaceful observer of the dark. The soil of the rainforest is now vibrating with the movement of the earthworms and nematodes that never see the sun. These tiny creatures turn the earth over, aerating the roots and ensuring the giants above can breathe. It is a world of silent, tireless service that happens beneath the surface of our awareness. While you sleep, your body is performing a similar service, tending to the soil of your health, clearing away the toxins of the day, and preparing your internal landscape for a fresh start. You can trust this work. You don't have to watch over it. The earth knows how to take care of itself. As the final stars begin to fade into the velvet indigo of the coming dawn, the bioluminescent fungi give one last soft flicker before they dim for the day. The night shift is ending. The long-tongued bats are returning to their caves, and the night monkeys are curling into their hollows. The forest has been successfully renewed. The air is cool, the water is still, and the world is wrapped in a blanket of absolute peace. You have traveled through the heart of the rainforest, and you have found the stillness you were looking for. The journey is complete, and the rest is yours. As the final indigo veil of the night begins to thin, we find ourselves at the very center of the forest's ancient wisdom. Here, among the rosewood and the mahogany, the trees are performing their last act of nocturnal service. They have spent the past 12 hours pulling the heat of the day deep into the ground, cooling the atmosphere to the perfect temperature for cell regeneration. It is a gift of thermal balance. In your own rest, you have reached that same point of equilibrium. Your body is cool, your mind is still, and your heart is beating in the slow, heavy measure of the ancient giants. Among the high ridges, the cloud forest mosses have reached their maximum saturation. They are so heavy with the night's mist that they bow the branches of the trees in a silent, green salute. This bowing is not a sign of weakness, but of abundance. The forest is literally overflowing with life-giving water. You, too, are now saturated with the quiet energy of this journey. You have absorbed the stillness of the sloth, the patience of the strangler fig, and the transparency of the glass frog. You are full of the forest's peace, a reservoir of calm that will sustain you long after you wake. In the hidden valleys, the cicadas that have been singing for hours finally fall silent, one by one. This gradual tapering of sound creates a descending silence, a quiet that feels even deeper than the stillness we started with. It is the silence of a job well done. The night has performed its duty. It has cleaned the air, fed the roots, and protected the sleepers. As the last vibration fades into the damp air, let your final lingering thoughts fade with it. There is nothing left to solve, nothing left to remember, and nothing left to do but drift. The dawn lilies on the edges of the lagoons are now beginning to sense the shift in the electromagnetic field of the earth that precedes the sunrise. They do not open yet, they simply prepare. This period of anticipatory rest is the most profound part of the sleep cycle. It is the moment when the mind and body are most deeply untethered from the world, floating in the pure potential of the void. You are in that void now, a space of infinite softness where you are neither here nor there, but simply being. Consider the epiphytes one last time, those plants that live entirely on the air. They remind us that we are supported by the invisible. We are held by the atmosphere, by the gravity of the planet, and by the collective breath of every living thing in the rainforest. You are not a solitary observer. You are a participant in a global symphony of rest. The oxygen you are breathing now was made by the very trees we have visited tonight. You are physically connected to this emerald world, bound to it by every breath and every heartbeat. The rainforest rivers are now beginning to steam as the air temperature shifts, creating a low-hanging river mist that snakes through the trees like a white ribbon. This mist acts as a bridge between the water and the sky, blurring all boundaries. In this state of total blur, the self disappears. You are no longer a person in a room. You are the mist, you are the river, and you are the ancient green canopy. You have dissolved into the great, rhythmic life of the planet. As the stars vanish completely, leaving only a pale, pearlescent sky, the great silence of the forest reaches its peak. This is the moment where time actually feels like it stops. The forest is holding its breath. In this absolute pause, find the center of your own peace. It is a solid, unmoving point of light within you that remains calm no matter what happens in the world above. This is your sanctuary. You can return here whenever you need, simply by remembering the sound of the rain on the leaves. The journey through the 100 secrets of the rainforest is now complete. You have traveled through the layers, from the high emergent sky to the deep, bioluminescent soil. You have met the masters of patience and the architects of the dark. The forest has shared its medicine with you, and the night has given you its protection. You are now fully immersed in the heart of the greenery, safe, warm, and deeply, deeply asleep. The light will come when it is ready, but for now, there is only the mist, the moss, and the endless emerald dream. Sleep now. Rest now. The forest is watching over you. Good night, dreamer.